Mm-hmm.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Another day, another shot of info. I mean, it could be shots of alcohol too. That was the whole point of this, but we've been slacking in that department, but we'll get there little by little. Um, Today's November 17th. Quick disclaimer just before we get started. It's a quick conversation between me and Mike. None of this is supposed to be taken with any seriousness. This is just for entertainment purposes. So take that at your best. It's a good way to put it. Take it at your best judgment.
Very good. Good morning, everybody. It's early in the morning once again. We try and to go back to our old schedule. For today, we have some interesting topics, in my opinion. Personal development, parallel reality, something interesting to talk about. Fitness, how does protein work in your body? Finance, should you trade and invest or give your money to a stockbroker, financial expert to make you money? And some news updates, of course. All right, without further ado, let's go into the first topic, parallel reality. Let's start by defining it. What is it?
So, from the most rudimentary understanding, and from what I think it is, and from what I've seen in movies and comic books and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
imagine there's two, not even two, imagine there's an infinite row of different options in front of you, and every option is essentially a universe, right? So hypothetically, we talked something similar, not like very a long time ago, one of the earlier podcasts. But imagine you make a decision, right? And that decision, there's always like two roads that you can take, or there's multiple roads you can take. So one guy decides to go left, and the other guy decides to go right. And then there's another decision up ahead, and then that road breaks into another couple of options. So in a
Mm-hmm.
parallel reality, the whole premise is that all these options have already happened in some way, form, shape. You have taken that option. Um, what do you have?
No, definitely, that's a good definition of parallel reality. Reality.
Uh-huh.
But pretty much, yeah, it's a multi-universe that it's more like a philosophical term, or kind of like a way to look at a life, because we don't know whether it's true or not. Like, there's a lot of scientists trying to prove this, but at the end of the day, we don't know, because none of us has been to a different universe. But the fact that is a possibility is kind of crazy to my opinion, because
Mm-hmm.
kind of you think like you're not the only version of you, and there's multiple different versions out there that like right now, maybe my other self is sleeping, or my other self being already woken up, or my other self is not doing this podcast. So it's very interesting to think about like another reality that you live on, or like a copy of you lives on, because it kind of makes you push. Well, in my opinion, for me, it makes me push and be better myself, like be the better version of them all. And like we always say, like it's kind of like a competition between yourself, because you're competing with other realities of you, and you're trying to kind of like be the best of the best. So it's
Right.
interesting to think about it, and that's why we decided to put it on the personal development, because it goes hand to hand about how you take up the approach on your life, and how you wanna be perceived as well. Because just think about another reality, another you somewhere in the universe. I mean, in another universe, and you're doing better than that person, or you're doing worse. So it makes you push to do better.
Mm-hmm. Sure. I mean, like the whole concept, right? Like there could be a version of you that super successful. There can be a version of you that decided to become a murderer or a thief.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because in every life, there's always a choice to be made, right? And you'd never know what choice is going to set you down some path, either the wrong path or the right path. I mean, we already talked about, well, I don't think we talked about morality, but these things are subjective. You make choices and there's consequences to your actions, not necessarily that there's a right and wrong.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it's really interesting for sure. I wish we could prove it. Maybe that would go hand in hand with the theory of this is all a simulation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
No, it might be. To be honest, it might be a simulation because if there's multiple options, like the computer, how it calculates something. So it's pretty much think about okay. So how a computer works is that it tries and fails multiple things, multiple paths in order to give you an answer, right? For example, whatever answer you're looking at, depending on the program, the computer makes decisions like really fast, like extremely fast, and it gives you the output. Now think about it, you being one of those paths. It's just like you going into slow mode, and the output is going to be at the end. It's going to be when you die, pretty much. Like what do you have accomplished? What do you do? What do you leave behind? And not like not financially or not like materialistic, but like the impact that you had in other people's lives. So in your own life, like if you die happy or not, pretty much.
yeah, will you die
But
with any regrets or anything like that?
right, yeah, this is interesting to think about. That
Mm-hmm.
they're out there another reality of you, and you should don't like stress about it. Like, don't think too much into it because you're gonna go into rabbit hole that you don't want to be on. And instead, just look at it at a positive, embrace that you part of this reality, and do your best to be the best version of you.
Just to give you an idea how deep it can go. So when we came up with talking with this topic yesterday, right before I was going to bed, I just started thinking about some stuff, and one of the things that came up was this parallel reality, and I try to combine that with the simulation theory. So
Mm-hmm.
hypothetically, imagine we get so good with our AI, or we've gotten so good with our AI, that an AI created another AI, and that AI is us, and then that's what's within the game of the simulation. Or we're running multiple different realities simultaneously, and that's why sometimes we get those like deja vu's, right? Like you've already done something, or you feel like you've already been here before. So
Yeah,
that's like maybe like a little glitch within the game.
maybe not a glitch, but maybe you're just learning. Like the AI learns, like the AI trains itself and learns with time. So
Right.
you usually, yeah, I always like I have deja vu's a lot, which is crazy, and like yeah, it makes me think a lot about reality and stuff like that. But I try not to put too much focus on it because at the end of the day, I'm part of this reality, whether a simulation or not. I need to embrace it and I need to become part of it. Like the quote that says, "If you cannot beat it, join it." That's pretty much my approach. Because what can I do? Like, can I escape from this reality? Of course, if I get to, if I, like from the Matrix, if I get a chance to choose between the red and the blue pill, I definitely choose I think it's the blue pill to escape. But
No, the
definitely,
blue wants to stay, the red
oh,
wants to escape.
yeah, definitely because I'm curious. I'm curious, George. I would like
Mm,
definitely want to see what is out there, what is outside, but not just not because I want to escape, not because like I seek like I hate living here or something. No, it's just I'm curious. I want to see what is out there. But at the end of the day, we part of this reality. We should embrace it and we should like live on and
for sure.
enjoy it too. Because whether I recently I was watching the movie The Maze Runner,
Hmm.
and it's kind of like that. Like people like we are part of kind of like a test, right? Kind of like life can be a test and see whether I actually was thinking about this on Sunday too. When I was watching the movie, I was like, what if you know we are the people in the test and we just got comfortable and we never escaped the test, rather we just embraced it, but
Hmm.
we're too afraid to like escape of the maze. But then the idea of not being in control of my life is kind of crazy. Like I had to. I'm not a control freak, but I do like to be in control. Which I don't know. The idea of somebody controlling my life is I don't like it. Me, not like it.
It's an oxymoron, right? But I mean, like a lot of the things in this life, we don't have control over. So, I mean, like to the best of our abilities, especially as human beings, as a species, like we've done our best to exert as much control as possible. That's why
Mm-hmm.
we have the society that we live in today, all the technology and all like that, all the things like that. And there's an argument to be made that there's problems with it. We have a bunch of problems coming up nowadays.
Oh yeah.
But that we can save that for a discussion at another time. But yeah, you can have fun with the ideas of parallel reality. Don't like you can look into it, but don't be consumed by it, because obviously you're living right now in this one, and if you get too tied up and consumed by the theory itself, and you stop living this life, and then you start looking for just
Answer.
different ways in order to go into a different universe.
Yeah, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Because the thing is that once you start looking into it, you start looking another theory, another one, and it's just a rabbit hole that you cannot escape because everything becomes sus in your opinion. And I mean, it's a good mentality. It's really good to be skeptical, but you also have to control the skepticism in your life. Like you cannot start questioning everything. I mean, it's good to question
No,
everything, but you
question
cannot.
everything. Just don't be consumed by it.
Yeah, don't be concerned. Yeah, that's good. That's a better put it on. It's really good to question everything because you learn who you are by questioning, but don't get consumed. Don't go into the rabbit hole. Cool, 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 cool. I think that was an interesting topic. I like it.
For sure.
I like it. All right, let's jump to the next topic, which is on fitness. How does protein work in your body? So yesterday we talked about carbs. Today we're going to be talking about protein. Randy,
Hmm.
all you.
All right, friend. So again, so protein has multiple components to it, but just going straight with the basics here. So the whole point of protein is obviously to help you build muscle, but not just muscle, because different parts of your body are created by protein. You could even say hair follicles have protein molecules as well. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not just all based on your body and building muscle. But essentially, the whole point of protein is to, I just said it, to help you build muscle. I'm repeating myself. Um, but on top of that, we have things like helping you build tissue, like skin,
Mm-hmm.
building parts of hormones, antibodies, and enzyme molecules. So that's molecules to help you digest food, right? Now, there is also the component of using protein as a fuel source. So I don't remember if we talked too in depth about it when we were talking about intensity levels of exercise, but protein in terms of like your muscle mass, that can be used as an energy source. Very often what you end up finding is that people that are trying to lose weight and they do it in a really extreme way, not
Mm-hmm.
only do they lose body fat, but they also lose muscle. The reason for that is going back to carbohydrates in yesterday's topic, as we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So sugar is an easy fuel source. Your body can extract sugar from protein. It takes a little longer than if you were just to consume like an apple or something, but your body could do that. You have a lot of protein in the form of muscle on your body. So if your body can't find carbohydrates and you're doing too intense activities, your activities are too intense, so it's not going to be able to burn body fat as an energy source, it will look for protein. And protein, again, is your muscle. So going back to that example, somebody that loses a lot of weight very fast, they're burning a lot of calories, so they're obviously going to lose body fat. But
Mm-hmm.
the intensity of exercises that they're doing is sufficient to make their body want to burn protein as an energy source as opposed to just fat, because it's too intense. So that's why, if ever you're in a pickle, if you're stranded, that's why you see people look completely starved to death, right? So it's their body consuming itself. They're using everything just to survive. And that's why people could survive for a longish period of time without food, but they need water. Water is definitely the most essential part. Without water, then definitely going to pass away. But on average, you can probably survive anywhere from about 10 to 30 days without any food,
Mm-hmm.
um, which goes contrary to what most people think. You need to eat every day. You know.
Yeah, no, definitely you don't. And it's kind of interesting to think about that as well. That your body is pretty much, what is it, like 80% water, a little more.
Yeah, 70, 80%.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's mainly composed of water. So like the idea that you can live without water is a no-no. But food, you can starve yourself. Like me and Randy, we tried fasting. I think you do it more frequently than I do, but we both tried fasting before, and it's an interesting experience to go through. I think we did. I think I did. The max I did was a week, like just minerals, just crazy. That was fun.
Like food tastes a lot better though, right?
Oh yeah, definitely did. Yeah, it was mainly to cleanse the body, cleanse the toxic.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and protein has a huge effect on your body as well, especially if you lifting, if you're doing exercises, because it's pretty much the muscle that you gain. Like your muscles need to recuperate and they need to grow. In order for that, it needs protein. Protein is pretty much the fuel that keeps your muscles going and keeps it growing as well. Now,
Mm-hmm.
there's a misconception that protein, you can only find it on meat. That's not true. You can find it anywhere. There's multiple different sources of proteins, like beans, all these grains, vegetables, as well as, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's some fruits that have protein as well.
I would imagine very little, but probably.
Mm-hmm. So
Nuts and seeds, high in fat, but also high in protein.
there we go. Yeah. So no, if you're vegetarian or if you're pescatarian, you don't need to eat meat in order to get protein. There's multiple other sources of protein that you can consume.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah. Don't overconsume protein either, because that can also be a problem, especially with the digestion process.
Mm-hmm.
Um, usually consuming too much protein, it has a tendency of making people fart, and that's due to the fact that you're producing a lot of there's a lot of nitrogen in protein, so that I believe that produces a lot of ammonium. I forget which one was the description, but in any case, these are toxins to the body, so you definitely don't want to be over consuming protein. Um, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, especially if you're not working out, if you're not doing like heavyweight lifting, then protein. If you consume too much protein, then it's just there, kind of like in excess.
Like an excess of carbs, that your body's just going to start saving that as a energy source, and it's going to store it as fat.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Good. I think that covers all the topics
Mm-hmm.
regarding proteins. Let's jump into finance. Should you trade and invest, or give your money to a stockbroker or financial expert to make you money? So the question, to simplify, whether if you should trade it on your own or just pay somebody to trade for you or invest for you.
A professional, though.
A professional, yeah, a professional. Um, where do you stand on that? Like maybe you guys might realize that we do it on ourselves, so maybe that's our position. But why do we do it for ourselves? What's the advantages and disadvantages that we see? Go
Well,
ahead.
obviously, for one, you're the one that's in control of your money, right? Oftentimes, depending on who the person is, a lot of times you're going to see that people take advantage of others, and you're going to be, hypothetically, say you give your money to the financial expert, they'll make you winnings, but it's not going to be that much, and a lot of the times it's because they're taking a lot of it from the top, or you're giving a lot of them in commissions. um, when we do it, or when at least I do it, I have control over it. So, and also it's a skill. To me, it's a skill in the game. So the better I get at it, the better I get at making more money, and making money make me more money. Um, as
Right.
opposed to giving it to somebody else where they're the ones that have the knowledge and the skill, and I'm just the one that just giving the money.
Yeah, definitely. The return when you do it yourself, the return is higher than what you get from when you pay somebody else. Mainly because their priority is not you, because they probably have like tens of like many different clients, right? Like multiple clients. So their priority is making their commission rather than making you specifically profit. So for example, let's say one of the other clients, they invest more money, so they make them the priority than you. So that's how it works. It works by commission. So the more money somebody invests, the broker or the expert, they make more money. So they usually take them as a priority rather than you. So your return are not going to be the same. Whereas if you start trading, you start to understand how it works and realize that it's not as hard as it looks. So once again, like Brandy mentioned, it is a skill that you can learn, and it's a very useful skill because trading can apply only to also to your day-to-day life because like you can trade things like regular things and you learn how to invest in the long run. Like I said, that it's a skill that you can apply in multiple aspects of your life, not just on money, so not just on the financial sector, but you can invest in yourself, you can invest in your abilities. Later
Hmm.
on, diversify your portfolio and go outside of the stock market and invest on real estate, invest on small businesses, on your own business. This is a skill that you definitely want to acquire, especially on the long run, especially as you uh, grow old and become a family, uh, make like have a family because
Hmm.
you want to have this skill. So definitely, that's I feel, in my opinion, that's the major aspect of it, and what I choose to do it myself. And it's fun. It is fun. Not gonna lie, it's fun.
Listen, instead of playing a game on my phone, I'm usually trading stocks. It's literally the same kind of, it's the same time, but as I win, I'm making myself more money. And don't get me wrong, like life isn't about money, but I'd rather make money and like use my time to make money as opposed to just use my time and play a video game or a game on my phone that doesn't really do much in the long term. But also going back to that point you were saying, applying like the skills of trading and investing to life. One of the things that I ended up picking up was that everything I usually before when I used to just like walk in the world, I wouldn't really see anything in terms of like businesses or making money or anything like that. But
Mhm.
now whenever I see like a product on the street or whenever I see any kind of advertising or whenever I see any kind of truck passing by, everything kind of becomes a metric of like how is this performing in the stock market. So
Mhm.
take hypothetically with the pandemic, right? Something that really skyrocketed was the sales of hand sanitizer and cleaning products, right? So how does that relate to stocks? So these things kind of just start like they start flowing in. You start seeing the world for, essentially how it moves in the market.
Yeah. So a really good skill to have, my
Mhm.
opinion. But yeah, I think that covers it.
Yep, I found that about covers it. Any news
Uh,
updates?
let's go to the news updates. On my end, I don't have much. Some earnings reports yesterday, and the team. We are going to the space. Well, they launched yesterday in SpaceX and NASA to the international, what do they call it? International uh,
Space
space
station?
station. Yeah. So it's the first launch with humans on the rocket. First mission aboard privately owned rocket, so which is by SpaceX, which is
Hmm.
really really good jump for Elon Musk. Now, I really actually talking about Elon Musk. Tesla is getting added on the SP500. We talked about that being one of the huge catalysts back in what is it, September? I think it was.
Hmm.
Now you might notice that Tesla stock is jumped really high because of this news. Now we from here actually we can expect Tesla not going below that number because being part of the SP500 is a huge honors and also like makes pretty much is telling everybody that this computer is more valuable than before.
Hmm.
So very interesting, very good. Congratulations, Tesla. Markets keeps reaching new highs, which is good to see. But once again, the market doesn't resemble the economy, so it's not
Yeah.
that. So we gotta keep, we gotta be aware of that.
Hmm.
Other than that, Home Depot are returning their. I mean, had their earnings report today, as well as Neo. So something to look at. Neo is another electrical company, and we see that electric cars are a trend right now. So maybe it's a good investment as well on
Mhm.
from that aspect. It's a different market. The Chinese market is huge as well.
The future.
Mm-hmm. What you got for me?
Let's see. For me, pretty much not. There's nothing here from what we did yesterday because again, it's been less than 24 hours since we did the last one.
Yeah, that's true.
So nothing particularly updated here. My Neo trade went well. Got like almost a 10% return, so that was nice.
Oh yeah,
Um, I'm only holding a small position going into today because obviously the earnings are after market hours, and
mm-hmm.
honestly, earnings can be a 50-50. And with Neo, previous earnings reports have actually dropped the stock, even if they were really positive. So you definitely always want to be careful about holding anything during earnings. But besides that, just pretty much just playing it as is. Again, the market is coming up. Technology, tech stocks, the NASDAQ isn't necessarily at all-time highs anymore. Again, the
Mm-hmm.
vaccine news is pushing every other industry back up that died during the pandemic. But the industries that, thrived during the pandemic, specifically technology, is starting to just, consolidate a lot and
Mm-hmm.
just kind of stay a little bit more stagnant, which is good. We don't want this thing to go to just start running like crazy and then have a massive overcorrection, and that's where
Yeah.
people lose the majority of their money. So that's good. But besides that, everything else is, yeah, we're good.
Awesome. Well, that would be it for today then. Really good to be back this early in the morning. And yeah, deuces.
All right. Take care. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.